Okay, good morning. Good morning. I actually played sports in high school, and my coach used to make us, you know, say good morning as a team. We wanna. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's day is been well. That looks a little bit better, right? So I saw a couple of stories I wanted to click on and read real quick, and then I won't be able to stay too long. But maybe later on today, I can do I can play my rocksmith for you guys and gals. See, in my mind, when you say you guys, that's like unisex for girls and guys. But nowadays, you don't want to be offensive to some people or not neutral to some genders. But I saw this and I wanted to know what happened. I'm gonna turn this my song down. Okay, so it says here, and if y'all see any stories y'all want me to read, let me know. Okay. So I saw this one, 6-year-old. Um, wait, hold on. Let me see if I can fix the top part. That's good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is how it looks. So it says, 6-year-old dies of cancer after family spot unusual change in her face. So I was interested in this one, and I hope it's not too cold where you're at. But it's cold where I'm at. So keep in mind, guys, it's getting cold, and I think there's special preparations we're supposed to do with our pipes, like I forgot what it was. Some people say you're supposed to just run cold water, but I think that's only because if they tell you to run your hot water, some people may assume that when your electrical bill goes up or your gas bill goes up because you're just running your water hot, that they can go to them and be like, "Are you gonna pay for it?" But I think we're supposed to be running hot water, or at least pour some hot water down your all your drains, all your pipes. And I think that's it for the winter. And then, of course, you got the weather stripping where some people like to apply that sheet over the window or whatever. Some people use plastic, for the drafts or caulk it. But for FDA, I think the best thing that we should do is really examine our food with a fine tooth comb in everything we consume. So it's not just in the meats; it could be in our dry foods, canned goods, anything that comes across human error, because we're prone to imperfections from time to time. So this one, it says, so back to this story, it says, 6-year-old girl has died from a rare form of brain cancer after her parents noticed an unusual difference in her face during a family meal. And it says, Katka, I forgot how you pronounce that. I could look it up real quick. We'll skip it. Sir Ridge Hill from the town of Crewe in northwestern England passed away on November 28th this year. It says this young child was diagnosed with cancer in September last year after the parents spotted something strange on her face. The family was eating a meal together when the parents noticed that their daughter's eyes was almost closed and her mouth was slanted to one side. The parents thought the parents took the child to see a doctor, and the 6-year-old was initially diagnosed with Bell's palsy, an unexplained episode of facial muscle weakness or paralysis. Hold on, let me turn up the volume so people won't have to strain to hear me. I think it's better for people to turn down the volume than to need to turn it up, and they can't turn it up high enough or something. So, and plus I'm talking loud myself, so I can, how do you say it, reflect my voice. You have to reflect and pronunciate the beginning and the end. Anyway, because we as I think sometimes us as black folks may not realize that we talk real fast, and we don't pronunciate the entire word. And sometimes that may come from just being raised that way. I was told I was doing that twice before in a professional setting, and told how to work on it before I was actually able to say, okay, look, let me work on this. Because when you speak and you speak your mother native tongue, people are going to understand you whether it's broken down or not, versus if a foreigner comes speaking proper grammar but with a heavy thick accent, you can't understand it. So I mean, it's still English, but we want to get into like formal or professionalism, I guess you could say, because I like being relaxed, but I just enjoy like a professionalism, being professional, and being around a professional environment. All that gangster, stuff. It just makes my skin crawl, because it's like at a certain age you should grow up. When you're introduced to that kind of environment as a child, when you're supposed to be protected and you're preyed upon, that's one thing. That's one thing. It happens, but we're supposed to be able to kind of rise above. Like they say, cream always rise to the top, no matter what. But back to the story here, it says, but the mother pushed doctors to perform a scan on the 6-year-old. When they did, the scan revealed a mass in her brain. The doctors then conducted further scans to perform an operation before eventually diagnosing the child with a diffuse midline glioma, a rare tumor of the central nervous system that begins in the brain or spinal cord. So it's unfortunate, you take your child into the doctors. A lot of times people don't realize that doctors are not God. And then you have some people who have mental health issues. I believe it was called the Manchurian. I believe now it's called the Manchurian by proxy. I believe that's the name of it. Before, I think it was just called the proxy. I'm sorry. There was a different name for that, but it's a name for people who like to go to the doctor. Like, It's like it's a mental illness. I believe it's called Manchurian by proxy. Don't ask me how I know all this. Don't ask me how I know all that stuff. I guess you could say like some people say like looking at you, oh, you can be the girl, the pretty, the trophy wife. But I'm more so like a tomboy, and I'm trying to see. I want to advocate for changing laws because we have too many women dying. Like I said, when I was growing up, it was I remember being around a lot of women, and there were just a lot of women when you look. There was a lot of men, but the consensus was it was like 17, 14 women to one man. And then I heard before I was born was even more. And then as time going and goes, we're dying off. And that's in mainstream numbers. There's no telling what our numbers actually are. And I think it's not enough for us. And then if you look at the people in Africa, and if you do like when it comes down to people doing surveys and giving you like consensus information, it can always be flawed, right? But per the census, yes, there was one point in time where it was like twice as many women almost to one man. Like naturally, that's how it should be, more estrogen in the room than testosterone. For obvious reason, violence. We're women are not equipped to be in a contact sport with a man, and women should not have to put out or marry someone to have some kind of status in society or protection. That's would be called racketeering. That's racketeering or RICO. When you say, okay, I'm gonna protect you, but it's gonna come at this, that, and the third. We should be protected, and I think this is something black men should be saying. It's not something a black woman should say. But if women, we have to realize that we're thinking criminals are gonna die of an honorable death and like fall on their sword because they dishonored the family. That's not gonna happen. They just grow in numbers and they killing us off. They killing off females. So we need to be mindful of staying away from Pookie and Ray Ray types, even the ones that wear suits or have great titles or money. All right, so we do that, we stay safe. It's the same battle. It's just that it's not from within. You don't want to be fighting with someone that's actually in your home. That's not going to be fun. And it's unfortunate that, it's awkward the way it's going. It's awkward. It's awkward. It's going very weird. So let's check out the next story. I'll probably be in here about 15 more minutes or so, 20 more minutes. For those of you that's watching me, uh, so I know right now the numbers look pretty slim, but don't worry, it'll grow just like a seed. When you plant a seed, it doesn't just grow the next day. Although some people have said that they have those miracle seeds. Another problem I think of black women have is church. A lot of us fall victim of using that pastor as a surrogate father figure, or male as a surrogate positive male figure, or sometimes your pastor is a woman, so we're looking at her as a positive woman figure. When you don't live with those people and you don't know what they actually do and what their character are and what they're made of, a lot of them will tell you that they would never ever preach if they did not gain substantially financial material things, materialistic. They're very materialistic. Okay, so I'm not saying that's everybody. I'm just saying that's a lot. It's more. You will find more clergy people, predominantly. I want to say in the black community because that's where I go and be at. Uh, it's to the point to where they do things that we don't know that they're doing. Um, so we'll be surprised. We gotta keep our eyes open, but do recognize that women. It should tell you something. If we don't see our black men in the church, it's a good indicator that we shouldn't be there. I'm gonna tell you why. Because men can pick up on another man just like you could pick up on another woman easier than trying to pick up on the opposite gender. If that makes sense. So if a man ain't okay with the pastor, you shouldn't think that he's but much of a person either. You just have to understand he has a shield up or veiled in front of the congregation. But behind the scenes, he could be sinning worse than you, and you could be reading the Bible more than him. Okay, so this is unfortunate. We got two missing at the sea. This is an hour ago. Baltic Sea. Two missing after cargo ship crash. Two people are missing after two cargo ships crash each other early Monday morning in the Baltic Sea, Swedish authorities say. It is not clear what caused the collision, but a preliminary investigation into gross negligence in maritime traffic is now underway. The Swedish Coast Guard said 10 boats and several helicopters had begun searching for the duo, but the at-sea component of the search and rescue operation has since been called off. Do you know I had wanted to do that search and rescue stuff? But like I said, I have a minor that I have to take care of, and you're gonna, I don't do anything with the plans of endangering my life. I just definitely have to put like all in. I don't want to halfway like do anything. So, so that's why I didn't do it. But I actually wanted to get into that rescue, search and rescue stuff. Yeah, but you'll be at sea. And it's the difference between being a good swimmer and a strong swimmer. And I haven't done the one. I could probably float on my back and swim good enough to save myself, but not someone else. And I don't know about at the sea. I think I would just be very, very frozen. Ooh, that's scary thinking about swimming in the sea. Um, the ships crashed into each other between Swedish town of uh, Gestad and the Danish island of Bornholm at about 3:30 Central Europe time. The accident happened in the Swedish territorial waters, and both vessels were heading in the same direction. Mm. So, there's a website we could go on to find out once the NSB. I might have the um, thing wrong, the issues wrong. Investigate that. But we can check it out. Find out what really happened. So let's go on to the next story because they're it's cold out there in that water, but so long that you can live. They'll be found. It's iced on the ground. And Coast Guard suspends search for woman who fell overboard on Carnival cruise. So we looked at that yesterday. 7 days rescuers found bodies in Cecilia Blast. Cecile, y'all want to read this? Isn't this in Europe somewhere? What about in Texas? Y'all want to let's stay homegrown for the moment because, like I said, I'm gonna leave and I come back. One person is dead and 14 are injured. 3 critically after a shooting in Baytown, Texas. Um, Let me see something. It actually won't let me edit something. Oops. Hey, I changed it to Newsstream, the picture, because this is like a news screen. Let's see what they're talking about here. Let's start it from the beginning.
Largest tornado outbreaks in our history. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through this together. The federal government is not going to walk away.
The cleanup efforts are underway after more than 20 reported tornadoes left the path of destruction.
And that's another thing I would like to do is work in those rescues like that as well. But I hear you get good money, but it's not really for women to do. Like you can do it, but you might want to have like somebody kind of watch you, like naturally, I guess. And that's when I was like, well, great googly moogly. Like, because that I was told like a decent guy could be working there, because you gotta have, papers, but they could have a crew with them that maybe they're not so decent or whatever, or something like that. I don't know. Whatever, but yeah.
Another EF3 tornado struck this Amazon facility in Edwardsville, Illinois. Just 2
But we was trying to read this one. It says one person is dead and 14 injured. I'm gonna mute this. After a shooting in Baytown, Texas, a gunman opened fire on a crowd participating in the celebration of a life in the area. The Harris County Sheriff Officer confirmed to the ABC Texas station KTRK. So we said that the first one time. We don't have to keep saying that throughout this article reading because we've already acknowledged the author. Then it says here that who said a mother was holding a virgil. Wait. Okay. So the mother was holding a virgil for her son who was killed at his home a couple weeks ago when an unknown suspect drove down the road shooting rounds into the crowd. So preliminary info, a large crowd gathered for a celebration of life. A vehicle approached and someone from the vehicle began shooting into the crowd. At least 8 people sustained injuries, 7 are non-fatal, but 1 has been. And that's very hard to understand, people are shooting at Virgils. Update into the shooting. The number of wounded individuals went up and is now 14. 1 has been pronounced deceased, 3 being taken by life flight in critical condition, and the remaining ones are said to have non-fatal injuries. Okay, so Marion says vaccines appear less effective against the new variant. I did want to read that one. I think, didn't we read this one yesterday? We read that one. Ooh, I didn't mean to click on that. Well, that looks beautiful. That's in Finland. Ooh, lake art. Wow. They don't play. They found something to do with their ice. Whew. Yeah, I remember this. This is a Home Depot scenario. He faked his own death by murdering a guy, and he found the guy at Home Depot. I don't know if that's the one though. Build Back Better Act. Person affiliated with university has COVID. Okay. So almost 1 million people have died of the COVID. And that is sad. We are, at least we could say from a optimistic point of view that at least it's not 1 million, or at least it's not twice as many as that, right? Because you know U.S. numbers was higher than everybody else, but I just think everybody else wasn't necessarily, being as thorough or reporting it. It's a high-risk environment. Chicago Bulls outbreak reflects the nationwide struggle to understand and contain the virus. I think people was thinking like if you athletic that you don't have to worry about the COVID because they was just we kept on hearing people say if you have underlying health issues like diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease that it'll be worse forms. So, but yeah, they were showing that even infants, everybody, everybody was still getting it. It was like breakthrough cases is what they call it. When we think of breakthrough, we think of something that's like positive, but when they say breakthrough COVID cases, they mean cases that where the COVID breaks through the vaccination or the immune system barriers. Okay, has anyone died from Omicron Khan COVID variant first death reported in the UK? There we go, guys. There we go. There we go. The UK has reported the country's first case of someone dying with the Omicron variant. But this is what the Prime Minister Boris Johnson said on Monday at a press release in London. Speaking in London, Johnson said that sadly, at least one patient has been confirmed to have died of Omicron. According to the BBC, he said that people should sit on one side. The idea that Omicron is milder than other variants and instead focus on its high rate of transmission. So that was like one thought, and I paused. It comes as 10 people in the UK were in the hospital with the Omicron variant on Monday. Over the past couple of weeks, reports have emerged that Omicron might possibly cause less severe disease than Delta based on early data from South Africa. Through scientists had warned that it was too early to say whether this was the cause or not. So I think that's when we was going to be concerned is when someone died. That's when they say like the cases increase. We supposed to look at when they okay. So first we hear cases increase, then we see a story like within 2 weeks to a month later, and they'll say the surprisingly the cases have decreased. But if you go look at the data, you will see it'll show a rise in deaths. So that was the cycle that I noticed with the COVID was getting bad. So it's like common sense. We're in a shut-in, as people would say in the Bible days. It's time to tarry. It's time to get into your house and just start thinking of the name of God and all His goodness. Stay home for those that can. But we was having people who are very extroverted. Is from what my perspective was, because I don't know these folks, but I'm assuming you have some people that are extremely extroverted that they don't do well in the house by themselves. They would rather die. It's probably like a real strong struggle to just be in the house by yourself to your own devices, like you know it's like you really have to see who you are and who yourself is. But there's different types of extroverts. You have some decent ones, but a lot of times extroverts are like cuckoo. Some of them have, like I said, in the black community we have a black male mental health crisis, and they all seem to be very much extroverted. Now back to this. So that's all it said. Is just that they had 10 people. Cases are increasing. They think people need to. UK is probably going to try to hone in on not allowing it to spread because it's the COVID, and it's going to the purpose of it is to take life. Like I was saying, when you talk about the stalkers, like they were showing in Atlanta has a new plant that sells cars, a auto plant, and I was saying like it's not helping the planet. Is it putting money in your pocket? Yes, but is that going to help the planet? No, because you have a lot of guys that's stalking, and where do they do the stalking at the car in the car? So people may not know this, but women are more subjected to the toxins in the air. So that's why you may see a lot of you see more black women with health problems. You got stalkers around, just driving around and around, messing up the exhaust. Messing up the CO2 emissions, which is the automobiles is it's like the number one. It's like 50% of 50% of the pollution. Pollution meaning global warming, meaning it could get too hot to where you could just die. From heat exhaust. And some people are more sensitive to heat than others. I am. This past summer was hot. I was able to maintain cool because I like being like in the natural. Like it's different when you just be up in your house with your central heat and air, but we do want to kind of have our bodies accustomed to the environment. You know what I'm saying? So you don't get sick that much if you have a natural environment versus one that's man-made. If that makes sense. But I want to sound like one of those Amish people or something. Like I'm turning butter over here because if I could, I would. I have to make me one of those. I haven't made one yet. I've done that. The not the old fashioned way. I don't know how they do it that way. I turned a little bit butter one time, but in a bowl just to see if I could do it. I got very little speck of it to where I don't see how they do that. I mean, they really strong, super like superhumans or something to be turning butter manually by hand. Oh, oh goodness. Let's see what's going on here. I don't want to read about bacon because I try to stay away from it. You know, bacon is like if you want high blood pressure and heart disease, like be a meats person. Like be that person that has to have that steak, that bacon, because all that's like it's good for you if you're living the lifestyle of someone that's burning, you know, your 2,400 calories daily, meaning you get in enough activity. That could be like a 2 hour workout. It could be a 4 hour workout to burn off like 2,400 calories. Keep in mind to burn off calories like that, women should not be burning off that many. I think we supposed to be burning off like 1,800. The thing is when you go to sleep, no one will be able to wake you up for a good 8 hours when you burn off uh, like your required calories per day. So do understand that that's like a manual labor job. It's like some manual labor jobs where you stand up all day, you're still not burning off your daily calories. And maybe you should only burn off like 60%. Because you know, if you don't have fat surrounding your organs, um, viscerals, it could be life threatening. Like if you get hit somewhere where it's vulnerable because you don't have anything covering your organs. So that's the reason why we do need fat. We do need fat for our brains. And I think women, we need fat, especially those are in childbirth thing. Um, I've nursed both my kids. I'm not a nurse. I said I nursed both my kids. That means I breastfed for those who haven't heard that terminology. My daughter, I did it for a couple of weeks, and my son, I did it for almost a year. The difference is I was more, it was painful. It's painful, painful to do that. And so it takes time. And so I knew more, and that's why I was able to go a little bit longer. And they have different fathers, so it's different kind of sentiment. Like some guys, I don't know, some guys feel like a woman can have a baby and then like the baby can raise itself, like it's a doll. And so it don't work like you. It's hard to explain, but some of these guys kind of look like they're kind of weird for me. Like the if you kind of really need to sit down with some of these guys before you ladies get involved with them and talk to them, you would see some of them kind of coming off with something awkward. Yeah, that's what they mean, man. They're just awkward. So let's see what this is saying. Because I think they said they're gonna have they trying to make it to where like Alzheimer's and dementia that they have like they're building ways now to where they can compact that because that's a when you look at the cycle of life, if we're blessed to be of up in age to where you know folks are looking like dementia, Alzheimer's. Everybody doesn't have to have that. Nobody is, you know, because you get old, it's a requirement to have any health problems or any of that. Even biblically speaking, um, it just because you get old doesn't mean that you have to. Your body has to wither away. But we do want to understand what's going on as the age cycle rotates. But they're talking about reported the death of a woman who was taking a new Alzheimer's drug. Let's see what happened here. I skip over the highlights 'cause sometimes those stories about somebody else. You see this? The most common symptoms: cough and fatigue. I was interested in this. Yeah, when they come to you about a new drug, you gotta sign off on it. Find out if it's like a trial type of thing. You may not want to be involved, but it depends on the situation. Just pray. That's what they mean by medical miracles. Some people, uh, like 10 people in a room could have a deadly disease, and like all of them die but one, and I don't know why. That's called medical miracle. Just because somebody else has something that you have, don't mean that y'all gonna have the same symptoms, necessarily. But they can say that majority of people have this, that, and the third. So that's all it's saying, really, right? She just took a new drug. She died. One of them died. They contribute that to being up in that age and health and stuff. Okay, California getting rain. You know that song where it never rains in Southern California. So, but they raining over there now. Wow. It don't rain in California. The Build Back Better Act. Let's find out what they're talking about. We're gonna keep on hearing it. So, Washington, the biggest question looming over Capitol Hill as Congress embarks on its final legislation sprint of 2021 is whether the state will pass President Joe Biden's 1.7 trillion economic safety net and climate bill. When senators return Monday, they'll have 2 weeks to meet with their self-imposed Christmas deadline, and it could all hinge on centrist Joe Manchin, Democrat, West Virginia, the linchpin of the 50-50 state. Lynch, yeah. We have basically 49 of us in agreement to move forward. So we have one colleague we're continuing to work with, and he's been successful in making a number of changes. And so hopefully he'll be joining us, a member of the Democratic leadership. Democrats have shaped much of the current version of the bill around the demand of the centrist. Wait, somebody, they mean like he's 100 years old or what? No, that's a centenarian. Okay, they mean having moderate. Okay.
Centrist.
Okay. Okay. I was just wondering, like, as somebody real old, um, that's a lot of wisdom. Democrats, the most of them probably don't want to be dealing with this though. This seems like high blood pressure, dealing with politics, legislation and stuff. Democrats have shaped much of the current version of the bill around the demands represented by the ruby red state that Biden lost by 39 points last year. Was that just last year? Biden's only been in office for a year. Oh, they're talking about something else. I'm sorry, my dates are off. If he votes the package collapse and Republicans are pulling out all the stops to try to turn him against it. So this doesn't look like it's going to tell us specifically what's in the bill. We would have to probably go to that other article to find out what's specifically in the bill. This right here is just talking about. Okay, here we go. Here's the concern. The House passed the Build Back Better Act last month, but the Senate will have to change it to win the votes of all 50 Democratic voting senators. This 80,000 cap for the federal deduction for state and local taxes is expected to dilute, and guaranteed paid leave is likely to be removed to draw Manchin's vote. A tax credit for electric vehicles made at UNI's factories also faced resistance from Manchin. And after Senate Kathleen Cortez Masto or Masto Mastu Mast should be Masto new a Democrat in Nevada, um, conveyed to Democratic leaders and the Biden administration that she opposes a nicotine tax. We're looking to ensure that we are not increasing costs and taxes. If they want to do something like a nicotine tax, do like a smog tax or something. People who just driving cars around and around and around and around to stop people of the land of good and plenty, they need to be stopped or censored. But you know, they're just probably steal other people's cars to do it in. We are, but at least that way you'll monitor though. You'll monitor your miles. You wouldn't let nobody just be coming into your house. You like, Dad, I got 10 extra miles in my car. Well, you wouldn't get into your car and notice a whole bunch of miles and not like start checking it. We're looking at ensuring that we are not increasing costs and taxes on anybody. I mean, me personally, if somebody want to go smoke a pack of cigarettes every day, if we are talking about adults and they can afford it, why are we taxing cigarettes? The Senate parliamentarian still has to decide whether other measures, including provisional work permits for millions of people in the U.S. complying with the rules governing reconciliation and or can budget process that allows certain bills to be passed with a simple majority. So this doesn't. We probably have to read that other article to get into the nuts and bolts of that. We want to. Then we got the Epstein abuse. I hate, I think most people find it hard to hear about women being like that with that Epstein stuff. But it's the only way that could flow like that. You had to have a woman in there making it look like it was safe for women because she's up in there. But she was more than just up in there. She was coming up with her own ways to keep it going. Hmm. A woman said she went to Maxwell Air Force in Montgomery, Alabama on Saturday to spend the day with her sister when a man randomly started attacking her and only stopped when security personnel shot him. Lakeisha McCall and her family were walking into Gunter Annex when a man got out of his car, charged at them, pushed her sister in mouth, then started banging her head against the wall. She told the local news outlet, "Yeah, I didn't know if it was me he shot. I didn't know if it was him, the guy. I didn't know his name. I didn't know if he was the guard, but all I know is once I made it to the door, I looked and I had blood all over my hands. It was on my head, and I didn't know. I didn't know who was shot." And in that moment, I said I was just so terrified and scared because after the fact of him like beating me, hitting my head to the wall, I literally thought he was going to kill me. McCall said that the attacker was shot and killed. A spokesperson for the Maxwell Air Force Base did not respond to the request for comment on Sunday evening. Two members of the Air Force Base and a civilian were taken to the hospital. The Congressman Dickinson Gate and Gutner Annex was closed all day on Saturday. Maxwell Air Force Base, which bills itself as the intellectual leadership center of the Air Force. Yeah, this is like, yeah, if you want to do Air Force, usually East Coast, you'll be over there. But so I'm gonna go ahead and dip out because I have to do something. But I do want to play Rocksmith for you guys just so I can practice. I need to practice because I'm a beginner. And I bought me a Epiphone, and I haven't used it. 6 strings Epiphone. I believe it's not American. It was a good dollar amount because I wanted a Fender, but I definitely couldn't afford a Fender. I'm definitely not Fender level anyway. But when you practice, you need to practice on something that's like a Fender, so you can learn how to play what it sounds like. But I also want to do a little bit of catharsis. It's like when you act out something, um, um, because there's a good need. There's a lot of nurses. Um, so we hear, like, if you look at the occupations, what's needed. Nursing is one of them, but another one is black filmmaking. So I was wondering if I can dip my foot a little bit into that, and I want to see if I can act. Like I want to like see if I can maybe put on like a little scene by myself. To see like if I can. I know it doesn't make sense, but I want to know. I'm gonna try to see if I can do both of those today. Like in between my breaks, I have something I have to do. But I know it's like saying a lot, but just like an hour on Rocksmith, if it looks like the connection right now is good, so I'll probably try to be back in like 2 hours to do Rocksmith to try to calm my nerves, and then see if I can script something out to act, because I think society wants to hear our story or hear more diverse, want to see more diversity, but of a positive lens. We don't need any more reality TV. We understand that that kind of stuff goes on, but we don't need any more of it. Like we don't want to glamorize it and act like, okay, little girls, and boys, you should esteem to be like these people on TV. Not to say that what they're doing is wrong or anything, because I can't talk about how people live their life, because someone can come look at mine and start talking about my life. I'm just saying that they do it as tastefully as they can, but we know we see others to where it's just like really not good. Considering what they have to work with and what they're given, sometimes it's hard to really kind of invest in yourself and what you need to be positive, considering like you gotta eat. But we were born to be able to think and chew gum at the same time, so we could make it happen. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in, and oh, I forgot, I do have something else here. Let me show you. I keep on forgetting to show you guys this part. Mhm. Okay, so right here we can also see what happened on Twisted Leaf, Trail of Death Grief, but I still gotta go. But we can come, and probably when I come back, we can look into this. Fentanyl tied to surge in deaths from opiates. We probably need to check that out and not forget we also got fentanyl out here, you guys. And we got to get our vaccination shots, like I said. I know I'm talking junk and I really don't want to go and get my shot. But I'm probably going to have to get it before this week. And like I said, I'll show y'all. Y'all get to see what I look like. I think I got this little like Mayflower type of vibe. I don't know. It's kind of got this little like hobo thing going on with it. But I like it. It's kind of like some people want to be like jewelry or dressed down and look all shiny and polished like they came off of a glamour shot. Like I think you should look like that when you're going somewhere nice, but not around here with Pookie and Ray Ray. I mean that's just crazy. But or the Pookie Ray Ray types, cause like Pookie and Ray Ray don't have to be like the person with the 40 in the pants all the way down. They could be someone with a suit and tie, but they have that kind of mentality. Pookie and Ray Ray, right? But so thank you so much for tuning in to Decrease Crime Newsstream. And please share this with your family, anybody you know that'll be interested in the newscast whenever I do the news streams. Pass it on to them. Please like this video, subscribe, share, comment, and have a blessed day. Thank you. Bye for now.